Right. The first 10 chapters are up. We are on chapter 11 of this magical gem of a book that's written by the Toltec people. At the end of this book, I will read the beginning, like the little preface page, so you can actually figure out the background behind the people. Anyway, let's get into it. We're on chapter 11, healing the emotional body. Let's imagine again that we have a skin disease with wounds that are infected. We want to heal the skin. We want to go to the doctor. The doctor is going to use a scalpel to open the wounds. The doctor is going to clean the wounds, apply medicine, and keep the wounds clean until they heal and no longer hurt us. To heal the emotional body, we are going to do the same thing. We need to open the wounds and clean the wounds and use some medicine and keep the wounds clean until they heal. How are you going to open the wounds? We are going to use the truth as a scalpel to open the wounds. 2,000 years ago, one of the greatest masters told us, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth is like a scalpel because it is painful to open our wounds and uncover all the lies. The wounds are our emotional body covered with the denial system, the system of lies we have created to protect those wounds. When we look at our wounds with eyes of truth, we can finally heal those wounds. You begin by practicing the truth with yourself. When you are truthful with yourself, you start to see everything as it is, not the way you wanted to see it. Let's use an example that is emotionally charged: rape. Let's say that someone raped you 10 years ago, and it is true that you were raped. Right now, it is no longer true. It was a dream, and in the dream, someone abused you with violence. You didn't look for that. It wasn't personal. For whatever reason, it happened to you, and it can happen to anyone. But by being raped, you will condemn yourself to suffer But by being raped, will you condemn yourself to suffering in sexuality for the rest of your life? The rapist is not condemning you to that. The rapist is not condemning you to that. You are the victim, and if you judge yourself and find yourself guilty, for how many years will you push yourself by not enjoying something that is one of the most beautiful things in the world? Sometimes being raped can destroy your sexuality for the rest of your life. What is the justice? You are not the rapist, so why should you suffer the rest of your life for something you didn't do? You're not guilty for being raped, but the judge in your mind can make you suffer and live in shame for many years. Of course, this injustice will create a strong emotional wound and a lot of emotional poison that could take years of therapy to release. The truth is that yes, you were raped, but it's no longer true that you must suffer the experience. It is a choice. This is the first step in using the truth as a scalpel. You will find the injustice that created a wound no longer true right now in this moment. You discover that perhaps what you believe hurt you so badly was never true. Even if it was true, it doesn't mean that now it is true. By using the truth, you open the wounds and you see the injustice from a new perspective. The truth is relative in this world. It is changing all the time because we live in a world of illusions. What is true right now is not true later, then can be true again. The truth is hell could also be another concept, another lie that can be used against you. Our denial system is so powerful and strong that it's very complicated. These are truths covering lies and lies covering truths. Like peeling an onion, you can uncover the truth a little by little until in the end, you open your eyes to find out that everyone around you, including yourself, is lying all the time. Almost everything in the world is of an illusion, is a lie. This is why I ask my apprentices to follow 3 rules for seeing what is true. The first rule is, don't believe me. You don't have to believe me, but think and make choices. Believe what you want to believe according to what you say, but only if it makes sense for you. And if it makes you happy, if it guides you into awakening, then make the choice to believe it. I am responsible for what I say, but I'm not responsible for what you understand. We live in a completely different dream. What I say, even if it is absolutely true for me, is not necessarily true for you. The first rule is very clear. Don't believe me. Rule number 2 is more difficult. Don't believe yourself. Don't believe all the lies you tell yourself. All those lies that you never choose to believe but were programmed to believe. Don't believe yourself when you say you're not good enough, when you're not strong enough, when you're not intelligent enough. Don't believe your own boundaries and limitations. Don't believe you are unworthy of happiness or love. Don't believe you are not beautiful. Don't believe whatever makes you suffer. Don't believe in your own drama. Don't believe in your own judge or your own victim. Don't believe the inner voice that tells you how stupid you are and that tells you to kill yourself. Don't believe it because it isn't true. Open your ears, open your heart, and listen. When you hear your heart guiding you to your happiness, then make a choice and stick to it. Don't believe yourself just because you say, because more than 80% of what you believe is a lie. It isn't true. The second rule is a difficult one. Don't believe yourself. Rule number 3 is don't believe anyone else. Don't believe other people because they are lying all the time anyway. When you no longer have emotional wounds, when you don't have the need to believe other people just to be accepted, you see everything more clearly. You see it as if it's black and white. If it is or it's not. What is right now, maybe a few minutes is not. What is right now, maybe in a few minutes will be. Everything is changing so fast. But if you are aware and you can see the change, don't believe others because they will use your stupidity and manipulate your mind. Don't believe anyone who says she comes from Pleiades and she wants to save the day. Bad news. We don't need anyone to come and save the world. The world doesn't need the aliens to come from the outside to save us. The world is alive, it's living, it's being, and it's more intelligent than all of us together. If we believe the world needs to be saved, soon someone will come and say, okay, a comet is coming and we need to escape from the planet. Kill yourself and boom, you will reach the comet and go to heaven. Don't believe the mythologies. You create your own dream of heaven. No one can create it for you. Nothing but common sense will guide you to your own happiness, your own creation. Remember, rule number 3 is difficult because we have the need to believe other people. Don't believe them. Don't believe me. Don't believe yourself. Don't believe anyone else. By not believing, whatever is untrue will disappear like smoke in the world of illusion. Everything is what it is. You don't need to justify what is true. You don't need to explain. What is true doesn't need anyone's support. Your lies need your support. You create a lie to support the first lie, another lie to support that lie, and more lies to support all those lies. You create a big structure of lies, and when the truth comes out, everything falls apart. That is just what it is. You don't need to feel guilty because you are lying. Most of the lies we believe simply dissipate if we don't believe them. Whatever is not true will survive skepticism, but the truth will always survive skepticism. What is true is true. Believe it or not. Your body is made of atoms. You don't have to believe it. Believe it or not, it is true. The universe is made of stars. This is true. Believe it or not. Only what is true will survive, and that then includes concepts you have about yourself. We have said that when we were children, we didn't have the opportunity to choose what to believe and what not to believe. Well, now it is different. Now that we are grown, we have the power to make a choice. We can believe it or not. Even if something is not the truth, if we choose to believe it, we can believe it just because we want to believe it. You can choose how you want to live your life. And if you are honest with yourself, you will know you're always free to make new choices. When we are willing to see with eyes of truth, we uncover some of the lies and open the wounds. Still, there is poison inside of those wounds. Once we open the wounds, we are going to clean the wounds of all the poison. How are you going to do this? The same master gave us the solution 2,000 years ago: forgiveness. There is no other way but forgiveness to clean the wounds of all the poison. You must forgive those who hurt you, even if whatever they did to you is unforgivable in your mind. You will forgive them, not because they deserve to be forgiven, but because you don't want to suffer and hurt yourself every time you remember what they did to you. It doesn't matter what others do to you. You are going to forgive them because you don't want to feel sick all the time. Forgiveness is your own mental healing. You will forgive yourself because you feel compassion for yourself. Forgiveness is an act of self-love. Let's take an example of a divorced woman. Imagine you have been married for 10 years, and for whatever reason, you have a big fight and your husband is with your husband over a big injustice. You get divorced and you really hate your ex-husband. Just hearing his name, you feel a strong pain in your stomach and you want to throw up. The emotional poison is so strong that you can't stand it any longer. You need help, so you go to a therapist and say, I'm suffering so much. I feel full of anger and jealousy and envy. And what he did is unforgivable, and I hate that man. The therapist looks at you and says, you need to release your emotions. You need to express your anger. What you should do is have a big tantrum. Get a pillow, bite the pillow, hit the pillow, release the anger. Go and have the biggest tantrum and you will release all of these emotions. It really seems to work. You pay your therapist $100 and say, thank you so much, I feel so much better. Finally, you get a big smile on your face. You walk out of the therapist's office and guess who's driving through town? As soon as you see your ex-husband, the same anger comes up and it's even worse. But you have to run to the therapist again and pay another $100 for another tantrum. Releasing your emotions is only a temporary solution. You may release some poison and you may feel better for a while, but that doesn't heal the wound. The only way to heal the wound is through forgiveness. You have to forgive your ex-husband for the injustice. You will know you have forgiven someone when you see him and you don't feel anything anymore. You will hear the name of the person and you have no emotional reaction. You can touch a wound and it doesn't hurt. Then you know you have truly forgiven. Because, of course, the scar is going to be there and it's on your skin. You will have the memory of what happened, how it used to be. But once the wound is healed, it won't hurt any longer. Perhaps you are thinking, well, it's easy to say you should forgive, but I've tried and I cannot do it. You have all these reasons, all these justifications why you can't forgive. But it's not the truth. The truth is that you cannot forgive because you learned not to forgive, because you practiced not to forgive, because you mastered not to forgive. When there was a time when we were children, forgiveness was our instinct. Because we caught the mental disease, it was effortless and natural to forgive. We used to forgive others almost right away. If you see two children playing and they start to fight and hit each other, the children cry and run to their mothers. She hit me. One mother goes to talk to the other mother. The two mothers have a big fight, and 5 minutes later, the children are playing together again as if nothing happened. Now the two mothers hate each other for the rest of their lives. It's not that we need to learn forgiveness, because we are born with the capacity for forgiveness. But guess what happened? We learned the opposite behavior. We practice the opposite behavior, and now forgiveness is very difficult. Whoever does something to us, forget it. That's it. She's out of our lives. Is it because of war or pride? Why? Because our personal importance grows, but we don't forgive. It makes our opinion more important. It makes our opinion more important when we can say, what she does, I will not forgive her. What she did is unforgivable. The problem is pride. Because of honor, we add more fire to the injustice to remind ourselves that we cannot forgive. Guess who is going to suffer and accumulate more and more emotional poison? We are going to suffer all kinds of things people do around us, even though it has nothing to do with us. We also learn to suffer just to punish whoever abused us. We behave like a little child having a tantrum, just asking for attention. I'm hurting myself just to say, look at what I'm doing because of you. It's a big joke, but that's exactly what we do. What we really want to say is, God, forgive me. But we will not say a word to God until God comes and asks for us forgiveness first. What we really want is to say, God, forgive me, but we will not say a word until God comes to ask us for forgiveness first. Many times we don't even know why we are upset with our parents or our friends or our mate. We are upset and for some reason the other person asks for forgiveness. Right away we start to cry and say, oh, you forgive me. Oh no, you forgive me. Go and find a little child in the corner having a tantrum. Take your pride and put it in the trash. You don't need it. Just let go of the personal importance and ask for forgiveness. Forgive others and you will see miracles start to happen in your life. First, make a list of everyone you believe you need to ask for forgiveness. Then ask them for forgiveness. Even if there's not enough time to call everyone, ask for the forgiveness in your prayers and through your dreams. Second, make a list of all the people who hurt you, all the people you need to forgive. Start with your parents, your brother, your sisters, your children, your spouse, your friends, your lover, your cat, your dog, your government, your God. Now you're going to forgive others by knowing what everyone did to you had nothing to do with you. Everyone's dreams her own dream. Remember, the words and actions that hurt you are merely a reaction to the demons in the person's own mind. She is dreaming in hell, and you are a secondary character in her dream. Nothing anyone else does is because of you. Once you have the awareness and you do not take it personally, compassion and understanding will lead you to forgiveness. Start working on forgiveness. Start practicing forgiveness. It will be difficult at first, but then it just becomes a habit. The only way to recover forgiveness is to practice again. You practice and practice until in the end you see you can forgive yourself. At a certain point, you find that you must forgive yourself for all those wounds and all the poison you created for yourself in your own dream. When you forgive yourself, self-acceptance begins and self-love grows. That is the supreme forgiveness. When you finally forgive yourself, create an act of power and forgive yourself for everything you have done in your whole life. And if you believe in past lives, forgive for everything you did in your past life. The concept of karma is true only because we believe it's true. Because of our beliefs about being good and bad, we feel ashamed about what we believe is bad. We find ourselves guilty and we believe we deserve the punishment and we punish ourselves. We have the belief that what we create is dirty that needs to be cleaned. And just because you believe in it, then say, thy will be done. It is real for you. You create your karma. You have to pay for it. That is how powerful you are. To break old karma is simple. You just stop that belief by refusing to believe it, and the karma is gone. You don't need to suffer. You don't need to pay anything. It is over. If you can forgive yourself, the karma is gone just like that. From that point on, you can start all over again. Then life becomes easy, because forgiveness is the only way to clean the emotional wound. Forgiveness is the only way to heal them. Once you have cleaned the wounds, we are going to use a powerful medicine to create the process of healing. Of course, the medicine also comes from the same great master. It is love. Love is the medicine that accelerates the process of healing. There is no other medicine but unconditional love. Not, I love you if, or I love myself if. There's no if. There's no justification. There's no explanation. It's just love. Love yourself, love your neighbor, love your enemies. This is simple, common sense. But we cannot love others until we love ourselves. This is why we must begin with self-love. There's millions of ways to express your happiness, but there is only one way to really be happy, and that is to love. There is no other way. You cannot be happy if you don't love yourself. That is a fact. If you don't love yourself, you don't have the opportunity to be happy. You cannot share what you don't have. If you don't have love, you cannot love anyone else either. But you can have a need for love, and there is someone who needs you, and that's what humans call love. That is not love. Love is possessive. That love is possessive. That love is selfish. That is control with no respect. Don't lie to yourself. That's not love. Love coming out of you is the only way to be happy. Unconditional love for yourself. Complete surrender to that love for yourself. You no longer resist life. You no longer reject yourself. You no longer carry all the blame and guilt. You just accept who you are, accept everyone else the way he or she is. You have the right to love, to smile, to be happy, to share your love, and not to be afraid to receive it also. That is the healing. 3 simple points: the truth, forgiveness, and self-love. With these 3 points, the whole world can heal and will no longer be a mental hospital. These are the 3 keys to heal the mind we're given to us by Jesus, but it's not the only one who taught us how to heal. Buddha did the same. Krishna did the same. Many other masters came from the same conclusions and gave us these same lessons. All around the world, from Japan to Mexico to Peru to Egypt to Greece, there were humans who were healed. They saw the disease in the human mind, and they used these methods: truth, forgiveness, and self-love. If we can see our state of mind is a disease, we find there is a cure. We don't have to suffer any longer. If you are aware that your mind is sick and your emotional body is wounded, we can also heal. Just imagine if all humans could start being truthful with themselves and start forgiving everyone and start loving everyone. If all humans loved in this way, they would no longer be selfish. They would be open to give and receive, and they would no longer judge each other. Gossiping would be over, and the emotional poison would simply dissolve. Now we are talking about a completely different dream of the planet. It doesn't look like the planet Earth. This is what Jesus called heaven on earth. Buddha called it nirvana, and Moses called it the promised land. It is a place where all of us can live and love, but because we put our attention on love and we choose to love. Whatever you call the new dream, it is still a dream, as real or as fake as the dream of hell. But now you choose what dream you want to live in. Now you have the tools in your hands to heal yourself. The question is, what are you going to do with it? I'm going to choose to live in nirvana, okay? Like, that is the lifestyle choice that I am making for myself. Come on, Buddha, with nirvana. It literally, my whole 31 years, I had no idea that the term nirvana came from the Buddhist religion. No idea. Just a little fun fact. Okay, well, shoot over to the next video. We're going to do chapter 12.